Welcome back to another conference tournament prediction video, and today we got the Big South Conference, and this is kind of a offensive pace league. But real quick, before we get into the bracket, if you're new around here, make sure you subscribe, turn on the noties. We're doing all 31 conference tournament predictions right here on this channel. But with that being said, let's go ahead and look at the bracket, and starting off with the 8-9 game, Gardner-Webb versus SC Upstate. Now, I took a look at SC Upstate, and I found something out. They're apparently one of the fastest paced teams in all of Division One. That doesn't mean they have a good offense, though. Their offense is outside of the top 300. And you go ahead and look at Gardner-Webb. They are also a very fast-paced team. They're better on both sides of the ball. So I think they go ahead and beat SC Upstate. SC Upstate has been pretty bad this year. They are 6-25 overall. They only have 2 wins in conference. I'll go ahead and take Gardner-Webb. I think I have like 5 wins in conference, so I'll take them there. But they will be taking on High Point. And for those of you that have followed college basketball throughout the season, and for those who haven't, I will explain. But High Point is one of the fan favorite, I guess you could say, sleeper teams. They're going to be probably, if they win this conference, they're going to be probably a 12 or 13 seed, and they're a team that everybody seems to be talking about. Everybody looks at this High Point team as, again, if they can get into March Madness, one of the sleeper, 5-12, 4-13 upset kind of teams, just because of how good their offense is. They have a top 25 offense in the country, which is pretty crazy to me. They're a deep team. And they're very experienced. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and take them over Gardner-Webb. I don't think they struggle too much here. They are cruising right now. Radford versus Presbyterian. This is an interesting one. There's a bit of a tier gap, I want to say, in the top 4 teams in this conference. Everyone else kind of falls a little bit. You look at Radford, they're 9-7 in conference compared to Presbyterian at 7-9. Radford's 19-12 on the year compared to Presbyterian at 14-17. So again, I'll take Radford. I'll take the higher team. They're actually the second highest ranked team in KenPom. Radford, they like to slow the game down, but they have a very good offense as well. So I think they're a very balanced team compared to Presbyterian, who is one of the lesser teams in this conference. UNC Asheville versus Charleston Southern. Again, kind of the same thing. I want to find some upsets, but Charleston Southern is the second lowest team, ranked in KenPom in this conference. And while UNC Asheville doesn't, scream, anything special, I don't see a world where Charleston Southern pulls it off. Maybe they can do it, but UNC Asheville is one of the fastest-paced teams in this conference. Their offense is just outside the top 125. They're 20-10. They have been struggling a little bit as of recently, but I think they can get past Charleston Southern. I think they've lost like 3 of their last 4, but I think they'll be fine here. And then in the 3-6 game, Winthrop versus Longwood. This was the game of the first round here. This was the game that I thought about the upset the most. I'm still going to go with Winthrop. Looking at Longwood, they actually don't, they're the 5th highest ranked team in KenPom. I'd say they're the closest to the group of top 4 that I was saying. They're very fast paced. Their offense isn't as good as some of the other teams in this conference, but they play at the same pace as a lot of these teams like to. The problem with Longwood is in their 2 games this season against Winthrop, they have been absolutely demolished. So I don't love that. I think Winthrop will get them again. Winthrop's usually a pretty decent team. We've seen them in the tournament here recently a couple times, I feel like. But moving on to the semifinals, High Point taking on Radford. And like I said, these are the 2 highest ranked teams in terms of overall efficiency. Radford, if there's any team I feel like to upset High Point, I think it would be Radford, surprisingly enough. I just think the fact that their offense is just barely outside of the top 100, I feel like, if they have a good shooting night, maybe they could kind of compete. And also, they like to slow the game down. They're one of the slowest paced teams in all of Division One. I think they could try to maybe get a good game plan against High Point, maybe slow them down, limit their possessions. But man, it's just so hard to go against this High Point team. I mean, this team is they're 26-5. They're right now on an 11-game win streak. It's just so hard to pick against them. They're 14-2 in conference. I feel like they can get past Radford. Radford has struggled at times in the Big South this year. While yes, their efficiency numbers are better than most of these teams in this conference, I just think High Point is too good. I mean, Radford's 156 overall. High Point's all the way up at 88. I mean, this High Point team, I can't stress this enough. They are a very, very good team. So I'm going to take them to the championship game. And then moving down, UNC Asheville versus Winthrop. I actually went back and forth on this game. These two teams split in the regular season, both winning at home. I think these are pretty evenly matched teams. Both these teams are, good, better offensively than defensively. When these two teams have played, they've both been very high-scoring games. Winthrop is actually they're actually ranked 5th in terms of tempo. And Winthrop did win the game most recently against UNC Asheville. I'm going to take Winthrop. I think they get it done. UNC Asheville also lost. They've lost 3 of their last 4 games. I don't love that coming into a tournament. And Winthrop, by the way, has been very solid as of recently. I think they've won like 8 of their last 9, and their only loss in there is to High Point. And keep in mind, they did beat UNC Asheville in that stretch, so it's not like they're playing nobodies in this conference. I think Winthrop gets to the championship game to take on High Point. And this would be a fun matchup. The problem with this is, in this conference, like I said, all these teams lean offensive. They like to go, which I think this conference tournament could be a fun one to watch if you're interested in any of these mid majors, because a lot of the teams in here, man, they play very fast and they're actually pretty solid offensively. The problem with that is High Point is just so much better at both of those things than any of these teams in this conference. For that reason, I'm going to take High Point, and here's why. High Point last season was the runaway favorite. They ended up losing, actually. I believe UNC Asheville got in, if I'm not mistaken. I think that sounds right. Or maybe it was maybe I'm wrong. It might have been Longwood, actually. I don't remember. I think it was one of those two. But High Point this year, pretty much a lot of those guys from last year's team is back. They're a veteran team. The continuity is crazy on this team. They run a deep rotation. Sometimes they're getting in like 10, 11, 12 guys in certain games. And like I said, they have a top 25 offense in the country. No one else in this conference even comes close to that high of a ranking on either sides of the ball. I just think High Point's too much. Maybe Winthrop can give them a run for their money. They score a lot as well. And UNC Asheville has a pretty good player. Marsh, he's averaging 19 points a game. Jordan March. I think Radford as well. I mean, maybe they could potentially, like I said, slow them down. They're actually the second highest ranked team in efficiency in this conference. But I think High Point is just too much. I think they're the favorite for a reason. And I feel like I've been taking a lot of favorites in these videos, but I gotta go with High Point here. They're 26-5. If this one I feel pretty good about this one. I think just High Point is in my opinion the clear best team, and I think they punched their ticket here. And like I said, if they get in, they'll probably be a 12 or a 13 seed. But that is going to do it for the Big South Conference Tournament predictions. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. If you did, make sure you go down there, leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you're new, turn on the noties. Like I said, we're doing all 31 conference tournament prediction videos here within the next 2 weeks, so very exciting time to be a part of the channel. Not only do we have college basketball, we do college football, NFL, NBA, and MLB, so if any of that interests you, make sure you go down there and subscribe once again. But with all that being said, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time with another conference tournament prediction.